Reasons that you may see the scale go up that aren't indicative of your progress and body fat decreases or body fat increases. Now, what you always have to remember about the scale is that the scale will always measure your body weight rather than just purely your body fat. And this is why it's also important to measure yourself, or weigh yourself, should I say, every day or every few days rather than just once a week, because we can have these fluctuations, and these fluctuations in isolation can make it look like we've gained loads of body fat and get in our heads, when in reality that is just not the case. It's just a little flux. So in terms of understanding the reasons why that scale may go up, if you've had a bang on week and you've hit your calories and you've hit your steps and your cardio and you see that scale go up, it can be really frustrating. But understanding the reasons why that could be can really help you put it into context and detach your value and your self-worth away from that. Because when you attach your self-worth and value, it can really decrease your motivation and self-belief, which we don't want it to do. So we just want to use it as data, the same way tracking our steps and tracking our workouts is data. So some of the main reasons why you may see that scale weight go up: number one, where are you at in your menstrual cycle? So if you have a natural menstrual cycle, and even to a degree if you are on some sort of contraceptive, at certain points within your cycle you may see a slight hold in water retention. So if you're on a combined pill where you take the pill and then stop taking it, when you stop taking it, that flux in hormones can lead to a bit of a water weight spike. On your if you have a natural period, the week leading up to your period and just after you've had your period, it's normal to see water spikes. Now obviously water holds weight, so if you are having a water increase, you're going to have a weight increase, but it's not a body fat increase. And you will typically probably feel more bloated as well, so that usually reflects that as well. But remember, that is not body fat, it's just weight, and it will drop off, and you will then see a better trend of what your weight is doing over the course of weeks, which again is why it's better to look at trends over time rather than just days in isolation. Other reasons that we can hold water include stress. Our body typically holds water under stress. If you're under a lot of stress, that could be that. Another thing that can impact stress levels is actually poor sleep. So poor sleep can lead to that. Potentially training inflammation as well. So if you've had a really heavy session, that can lead to inflammation, which can lead to water retention. So the day after a really heavy session, you could potentially hold water weight as well. So that's something to consider. Other reasons why the weight might go up, again, water retention from digestive processes. So when you typically have higher salt intake or higher carbohydrate intake than your body's used to, whether that's just a different food source or you've gone out for food, that can lead to water retention. If you've had a higher fat meal, so you've gone out for food, fat slows down digestion. So if you eat quite late, you go out for food, you have quite a high fat meal, and you jump on the scale quite early, there's a good chance that food is still processing, and therefore food holds weight if it's not broken down, if it's not got rid of. And that's another thing as well, if you haven't been to the toilet in quite a while, that is all sat there, so that holds weight. So there's so many things that contribute to that number in the scale. So it's why it's so important to not attach your entire worth in terms of your progress that week to that number. Because if you do it once a week, obviously, then in isolation, that number could massively go up and completely skew your self-perception of your progress. And even across the course of a week, you see if you're on your menstrual cycle, that number could still be up. And it's so important, and it's why it's so important to look at the scale in context and in relation to also your general adherence that week. So if you have been bang on with everything, then there's no reason for your body fat to have gone up. In context of how do you feel in your progress photos? If your weight's up but you're looking visibly leaner, then who cares what your measurements are doing and how your clothes are fitting, putting all of these things together. So the scale weight can go up for so many reasons, but it's being aware of why it might happen and being able to put it in context of other things as well.